After being reborn, all my villains and little pities were saved by me. Chapter 1. The sky was an eerie grayish-purple color, and the clouds surged like the back of a giant beast. Luo Nishang's breathing was rapid, and her heart was about to explode in her chest. This was the last night of her previous life. 3 men, 3 suffocating breaths, approaching at the same time. She once saved them and gave them a second life, but they joined forces to corner her. Nishang, you don't belong to others, only to us. A cold and crazy voice sounded. She looked up and saw a blood-red crack in the sky. 1 second, she was thinking about escaping, and the next, the world collapsed in disgrace, her blood and tears intertwined. Reborn. Luo Nishang opened her eyes and saw the familiar but unfamiliar ceiling. She was back to 16 years old. The novel on the desk hadn't been opened yet, and the leaves outside the window were still shining with morning dew. Ding! Congratulations on the successful rebirth of the host, you have bound the family happy system. The system's voice was crisp and had an untimely cheerfulness. Luo Nishang's brows furrowed. This is... what the hell? System prompt. Save the villain little pitiful. Do tasks to earn points, redeem rewards, and you can ask for anything that exists in this world. Luo Nishang was stunned, and the appearance of the 3 men in her previous life came to her mind. Sick and crazy, she bit the corner of her lip and decided not to repeat the same mistakes. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 2. The first mission is simple, save the little boy who is stranded. The prompt given by the system was subtly similar to what happened to her in her previous life. Little pity, don't be afraid. Luo Nishang squatted down, stretched out his hand, and said softly. The little boy's eyes flashed with tears, but for some reason he couldn't speak. For the first time, she felt the power of system points. For every person she helped, she received resources. These resources may be money, fame, or even change the fate of some people. However, she soon discovers that the world is not just about kindness and punishment. Every time she helps the villain poor girl, she encounters strange obstacles, the weather changes for no apparent reason, strange creatures appear, and even the streets change direction like a maze. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 3. At school, she met her first villain. The name is peculiar, Han Tinjao, with bottomless black pupils and a smile with a slight sense of madness. Nishang, are you here again? He raised the quill in his hand, as if he was holding a sharp sword with hidden murderous intent. Luo Nishang did not flinch, but smiled. I'll help you, Han Tinjao. The system displays. Mission, save Han Tinjao's little poor heart. This is Luo Nishang's first real challenge. Han Tinjao's loneliness and madness made her almost impossible to approach, but the firmness in her heart told her that this time, she would not be hurt again. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 4. Han Tinjao's secret was far more complicated than she imagined. He loves to collect strange stones, each with a story and tears behind them. Luo Nishang observed carefully and found that his madness was due to being overly controlled by his father and ostracized by his peers. She began to slowly open his heart with small gifts, smiles, and words. However, every time she saves a little pitiful, her real world undergoes strange changes. The school bell rings abnormally, the trees glow at night, and even strange creatures wander around the playground. Luo Nishang realized that this world was different from his previous life, and this was a journey where fantasy and reality intertwined. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 5. System prompt. The host can choose to redeem points to gain wealth, fame, or power. Luo Nishang used the system for the first time. She chose reputation. She hopes to use her influence to protect those who cannot save themselves. Unexpectedly, this choice attracted another villain, Bai Jingxian, a genius teenager who is gentle on the surface but actually thoughtful. Nishang, who are you saving? His tone was understated, but there was a sense of danger in his eyes. Luo Nishang smiled. Bai Jingxian, are you willing to let me help you? He was silent for a moment and nodded. System points quietly increased, and she began to feel the power behind the system. With every kind intervention, the world was quietly rewritten. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 6. Luo Nishang discovered that the three villains were not complete enemies, but the embodiment of tragedy caused by their previous lives. Han Tinjao, Bai Jingxian, and the third one, Lin Yexi, in his previous life he was crazy, extreme, and brought death. Now, what she has to do is not just protect herself, but change their fate. Each time you help them, the system offers unexpected fantasy rewards, hearing animal language, teleporting, manipulating small areas of time. These abilities are small, but they are enough for her to resolve crisis after crisis. Chapter 7. By accident, she breaks into the secret passage of the night market and encounters a group of strangely shaped creatures that write runes in colorful liquids, as if summoning some ancient power. System prompt. Mission: solve the mystery of the runes and save the next little pitiful. Luo Nishang took a deep breath. She knew it would be an unprecedented challenge. She held the Philosopher's Stone in her hand and interpreted the runes, encountering visions in the process. The laughter of three men in her previous life and the scene of her death were repeated in a staggered manner. She didn't dare to look back, but gradually understood that only by saving every little pity in this world could she completely rewrite her destiny. Chapter 8. Han Tinjao's family is in infighting, and he is forced into danger. Luo Nishang used the power of the system to protect him secretly, and even saved his life with an unexpected explosion illusion. For the first time, Han Tinjao expressed his sincerity to her. Nishang, you are the only one who believes that I will get better. This trust increased Luo Nishang's points dramatically, and she began to understand that saving the little poor was not only a physical rescue, but also an emotional healing. Chapter 9. Bai Jingxian's father secretly plotted a conspiracy, and he wanted to use Bai Jingxian's talent to gain power. Luo Nishang designed a bureau to let Bai Jingxian see his father's true face with his own eyes, and use wisdom and system power to resolve the crisis. Thank you, Nishang. Bai Jingxian showed a sincere smile for the first time. Luo Nishang knew in her heart that the tragedy of her previous life was gradually reversing. Chapter 10. Lin Yexi appeared. His madness far exceeded that of Han Tinjao and Bai Jingxian. Luo Nishang felt daunted for the first time. The system prompted her, this will be the ultimate challenge, please be prepared. Lin Yexi's power distorts reality, he can manipulate dreams and people's hearts. Luo Nishang held the magic stone tightly and took a deep breath. This time, I am not only for myself, but also for you. She knew that the death of the previous life would become the starting point of victory in this life. Chapter 11. Lin Yexi's figure appeared like a black mist. His eyes were sharp, with a crazy aura that he couldn't look directly at in his previous life. Nishang, do you think you can change me? His voice was low and torn, as if it came from the depths of the earth. Luo Nishang clenched the magic stone. The heartbeat in her chest echoed like war drums. She knew that this was not a simple conversation, but a war between the mind and reality. Lin Yexi waved his hand, and the whole room began to twist. The walls rolled like liquid, and the light coming through the window became weird and dazzling. You won't win. Lin Yexi's laughter cut through the eardrums like a knife. Luo Nishang closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and silently recited the system prompt. Mission: save Lin Yexi's little poor heart. Her fingers clenched the magic stone, releasing a warm light from her fingertips, like a tiny flame that reversed the darkness. The light touched Lin Yexi's pupils, his body stiffened slightly, and the originally distorted space began to slowly calm down. You're light. Why? His voice choked up, revealing his vulnerability for the first time. Luo Nishang smiled faintly, because you deserve to be saved. At that moment, the pain and hatred of the previous life were blown away by the light like dust, and an unprecedented warmth appeared in Lin Yexi's heart. Chapter 12. After saving Lin Yexi, the reward given by the system is, gain the ability to manipulate dreams, enter the subconscious world of others and rewrite their emotional memories. This is a dangerous and tempting force, but Luo Nishang knows that only by mastering it can she prevent future tragedies from happening again. In the next few days, the world in the school begins to become more bizarre. The streets stretch for no reason, the sky occasionally drops colored spots like liquid, and pedestrians seem ordinary, but some faces have faint painful expressions. Luo Nishang began to use his new abilities to enter the world of neglected souls and help them release their pent-up emotions. For the first time, she walked into a teenage dream and saw that he was surrounded by countless shadows, which were the embodiment of loneliness and fear. She stretched out her hand, and the light flowed out of her palm, slowly dispersing the shadows. The boy smiled in his dream, and he was no longer indifferent to his classmates in the real world, and Luo Nishang's points skyrocketed again. Chapter 13. However, with great power comes the deeper the danger. After being rescued, Lin Yexi began to behave strangely, often staring at the night sky, as if he could see the edge of another world. Han Tinjao and Bai Jingxian also noticed the abnormality, and they gathered around Luo Nishang. Nishang, are you sure you won't be swallowed by power? Han Tinjao frowned. Luo Nishang nodded lightly, I can't back down, because in your previous life, I lost myself and you. She began to teach them to use tiny magical powers to protect herself and protect them. The three former villains, now under her guidance, gradually show their soft and kind qualities. However, some unknown force was quietly stirring, slowly approaching the edge of her world. Chapter 14. One night, Luo Nishang dreamed of her past life, dying at the hands of three men, and the scene was suffocatingly clear. Her flesh and blood were swallowed up by countless light and shadows, watching them approach, but she couldn't make a sound from her mouth. A system prompt appeared. Danger escalation, the illusion of the cause of death in the previous life will become a reality, and the host must defend immediately. Luo Nishang woke up and found that the light in the room flowed as if it was distorted, and the shadow crawled on the wall autonomously. She clenched the Philosopher's Stone, and the light and shadow collided, creating strange sparks that seemed to turn the entire room into a furnace. The three villains rushed over. Han Tinjao and Bai Jingxian used their respective powers to block the entrance to the room, while Lin Yexi stared at the illusion on the wall, his trembling hand slowly stretched out, trying to touch the illusion. This time, Luo Nishang felt a real heartbeat. The shadow of his past life was not just a memory, but a hostility lurking in reality. Chapter 15. The confrontation between light and shadow continued all night. Luo Nishang found that the more terrifying the illusion, the stronger her system ability. Every flutter of the heart can be transformed into a light attack to resist the erosion of shadows. Han Tinjao used stones to create barriers, Bai Jingxian used illusions to confuse shadows, and Lin Yexi finally began to understand her intentions and assisted her in analyzing the structure of the illusion for the first time. At dawn, the illusion dissipated, the room returned to its original state, and all four of them were out of breath. Luo Nishang held the magic stone tightly, and a line of system prompts appeared in his mind. The host breaks through the first psychic defense test and obtains the psychic barrier ability, which can block fear and illusion attacks. At this moment, she knew that she could really draw a clear line from the tragedy of her previous life. Chapter 16. Rumors began to spread in the school that the three villain boys around Luo Nishang gradually became different. Han Tinjao's loneliness was replaced by gentleness, Bai Jingxian's calculations were assisted by wisdom, and Lin Yexi's madness was pulled by emotions. Luo Nishang discovered that the system's mission was not just to save individuals, but to the entire community. Someone on the street was injured, and her light healed. There was a dispute at school, and she used words and magic to resolve it. After accumulating points to a certain extent, she was able to directly rewrite some of the physical rules, making the world temporarily obey her will. She understood that although death in a previous life was painful, it gave her an unparalleled second chance. Chapter 17. By chance, Luo Nishang found a sealed scroll behind a secret bookshelf in the library. The scroll reads strange words. The source of the dark shadow is not that flesh and blood can be destroyed, but that the heart can be turned. System prompt. Mission: explore the source of the dark shadow and prevent the tragedy from the past life from happening again. This is the first mission that crosses the boundary between reality and magic, and she embarks on a journey with three villain teenagers. In the forest at night, the trees bend like living creatures, and the branches and leaves whisper. Lin Yexi exclaimed, "Here! Like my dream. Luo Nishang smiled and stretched out his hand of light. This is our common challenge and our road to redemption. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 18. Deep in the forest, they encounter strange creatures, crystal birds that are transparent and sing in low frequencies in the night sky. Han Tinjao felt fear for the first time, but was held by Luo Nishang's hand and gradually calmed down. Bai Jingxian used illusion to convince the crystal bird that they were allies and avoid attacking. Lin Yexi saw a huge black shadow vortex for the first time in the forest, his hands trembled slightly, and the madness of the past blended with fear at this moment. Luo Nishang clenched the magic stone and injected light into the edge of the vortex, and the black shadow trembled slightly, revealing a crack. System prompt: the host faces the source of the dark shadow for the first time, gains the ability to fine-tune space, which can temporarily distort the laws of physics. This is an unprecedented force and an opportunity that was unimaginable in previous lives. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 19. They continued to delve deeper into the black shadow vortex and found that inside the whirlpool was another small space, like an endless hall of mirrors. In each mirror, their deepest fears and past life traumas are reflected. Han Tinjao saw that he was isolated, Bai Jingxian saw that he was being manipulated, Lin Yexi saw that he was killing non-stop, and Luo Nishang. Seeing yourself reborn cannot prevent tragedy. She clenched the philosopher's stone, and the light spread, illuminating every mirror. System prompt. Mission completion, 80%, continue to save the villain Little Pitiful this time. She is not only saving others, but also saving herself and reconciling with the fears of her previous life. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 20. In the deepest part of the Hall of Mirrors, they encountered a huge black shadow, shaped like a human but without facial features, exuding an oppressive aura. Luo Nishang's heart beat violently, and she felt that the shadow of death in her previous life was overflowing from the source of the dark shadow. The three villains clasped her hands and worked together to cast spells. The light collided with the black shadow, and the entire space tumbled like a liquid. The black shadow suddenly roared and turned into a huge storm, sweeping the four of them into it. Luo Nishang took a deep breath, concentrated all his will, and light burst out from his body. The pain of the previous life, the firmness of this life, and the power given by the system, all converged. When the storm disperses, they stand on the edge of the junction of light and shadow, the Hall of Mirrors disappears, and the forest returns to tranquility. Luo Nishang smiled, this is just the beginning. For the first time, the three teenagers also showed hopeful smiles. Chapter 21. In the forest where light and shadow intertwined, Luo Nishang and the three teenagers walked deeper, and the surrounding air was like solidified mercury, and the light refracted strange colors. Han Tinjao's mood was unprecedentedly tense, and he clutched the stone talisman as if it was the only thing that could stabilize him. Bai Jingxian calmly analyzed the surrounding environment. Every leaf and every ray of light may hide threats. Lin Yexi's eyes always fell into the distance, as if he was chasing some unspeakable memory. Here, Han Tinjao whispered, this place is like my dream. No, like our dreams. Luo Nishang held his hand, dreams can also be rewritten. Just like in a previous life, we were trapped, but now, we have a choice. The system prompt sounded, mission. Enter the core of the forest and find the source of the black shadow. She felt a force calling, and the boundary between the black shadow and the light gradually blurred, as if it would be swallowed up in the next second. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 22. Deep in the forest, a curved stream shimmers with night light, and the water surface is like a mirror but reflects different figures. Luo Nishang approached, and the light spread along her fingertips, illuminating the intertwined images on the water. Han Tinjao looked at his reflection and saw that loneliness, anger, and pain overlapped. His breathing slowed down, and tears quietly slipped down. Bai Jingxian stared at the future possibilities emerging from the water, his brows furrowed, as if he was choosing the right path. Lin Yexi walked to the stream, and a black shadow rose from the water, as if to devour his entire body. Luo Nishang did not hesitate, injecting the light into the water. The black shadow roared and retreated, and the water surface calmed down again. System prompt. Mission success, 50%, reward unlocked, psychic resonance ability, can share emotions with villains and enhance strength. She felt the emotions of the three teenagers gradually connecting, and Sombra was no longer an isolated existence, but their common fear. underscore 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 un. Chapter 23. As night falls, countless floating fluorescent balls suddenly appear in the forest, each resembling a miniature planet, shimmering with strange light. Luo Nishang stretched out his hand, the light touched the glow ball, and the system prompted. New mission, unlock the secret of the forest. Each glow ball represents a poor little man who has not been saved. Han Tinjao and Bai Jingxian took her through it and found that the fluorescent ball reflected human pain, loneliness, and regret. Lin Yexi's fingers trembled slightly, and for the first time, he took the initiative to reach out and gently lift the fluorescent ball, as if protecting a fragile life. Luo Nishang smiled. Look, you have begun to change. The system prompted a skyrocketing increase in points, and she felt an unprecedented intertwining of power and responsibility. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 24. The surface of the lake deep in the forest suddenly fluctuates, and the water reflects the distorted sky, like the entrance to another world. The aura of the source of black shadows was even stronger. Luo Nishang's heart beat faster. She knew that this was the closest place to the truth. Han Tinjao held the talisman tightly, his body trembling slightly. Nishang, I. Afraid. Luo Nishang held his hand and smiled. Fear is not a weakness, fear is the source of strength. A huge whirlpool rose in the lake, and black shadows surged in like a tide, and determination flashed in the eyes of the three teenagers. Luo Nishang concentrated the light and temporarily blocked the junction between the black shadow and the vortex. It was a struggle of strength and will. System prompt. Mission, seal the source of shadow outpost and prepare for the final challenge. The light poured down like a waterfall, reflecting the determination and courage of the four people. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 25. They stepped into the center of the whirlpool, and the sight before them was breathtaking, an endless hall of mirrors, with countless mirrors reflecting different versions of them. Every mirror tells the tragedy and regret of her past life, and Luo Nishang sees the moment of her death in different situations. Han Tinjao took the initiative to hug Luo Nishang for the first time, and said softly, Nishang, we will change all this. Bai Jingxian's eyes flashed with wisdom, and he analyzed the structure of the mirror hall to find a possible way out. Lin Yexi used the black shadow energy to merge with her light, accidentally creating a light bridge to the source. The four of them stepped on the light bridge, and the black shadow roared and tried to obstruct it, but the psychic barrier prompted by the system protected them. This time, the shadow of the past life is no longer an absolute death, but a chapter that can be rewritten. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 26. At the end of the light bridge, the source of the black shadow finally appeared, a huge humanoid black shadow, exuding an endless sense of oppression. Luo Nishang took a deep breath and stretched out his hand to inject the light into the black shadow, and the three teenagers also cast spells at the same time, their power intertwining into a huge energy network. The black shadow roared, trying to split the will of the four people, but the light gradually penetrated into its core. Luo Nishang saw that inside the black shadow, there were countless forgotten sad little pitiful incarnations, and she understood that this was not an enemy, but a neglected world pain. System prompt. Final mission, transform the source of the black shadow and save all the little pity. Luo Nishang stretched out his hand and smiled, we will no longer kill, we will save. The dark shadow melted like water, and the light penetrated every corner, as if the world had been reborn. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 27. After the dark shadows dissipate, the forest comes back to life, the trees shine brightly, the streams are clear, and the stars shine in the night sky. Han Tinjao, Bai Jingxian, and Lin Yexi all breathed a sigh of relief and showed a pure smile for the first time. Luo Nishang felt the explosion of system points, and she could exchange for anything that existed in the world, fame, wealth, and even time. Instead of using it right away, she chose to return to reality first and see what difference she could make for the school and the city. The three teenagers stay with her and explore with her how to use their new powers to protect more people. The world is no longer gloomy, and it seems that the pain of past lives can really be rewritten. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 28. Back at school, Luo Nishang found that everything in the school had changed subtly, the once isolated students were no longer alone, and the conflicts between teachers were quietly resolved. Han Tinjao and Bai Jingxian began to use the light bridge ability to protect their classmates from disaster, while Lin Yexi used the residual energy of the Black Shadow to improve the environment and campus facilities. Luo Nishang smiled, "This is our strength, not just to save ourselves, but to save every life around us." For the first time, she felt the joy of being in full control of her destiny, and this joy was not power, but the intertwining of responsibility and love. Chapter 29. However, a new crisis quietly descends. A mysterious figure appears who possesses the ability to manipulate time in an attempt to rewrite world history. Luo Nishang felt the real threat for the first time, the light beat in his hand, and the system prompted. New challenge, stop the time manipulator and protect the world order. The three teenagers immediately followed her. Han Tinjao guarded the entrance with strength, Bai Jingxian analyzed the enemy's strategy, and Lin Yexi supported with the remnants of the Black Shadow. Luo Nishang knew in his heart that the real test had just begun, and the tragedy of his previous life could come back at any time. Chapter 30. The time manipulator pulled Luo Nishang and the three teenagers into fragments of different time and space. Each fragment was a memory of a past life and an extension of the present world. Han Tinjao is trapped on an isolated island and faces endless loneliness. Bai Jingxian is trapped in a maze and must solve psychological puzzles. Lin Yexi was forced to face his madness origin. Luo Nishang shuttled between the fragments, and the light connected their consciousness like silk threads, gradually guiding them back to reality. System prompt. Final test, the interlacing of the mind and time. The host needs to guide the villain to overcome the predicament. Together the world of light, black shadow, and fragments is intertwined, and the powers of the four overlap in time, gradually forming a new balance. Chapter 31. Luo Nishang returned to the real world with the three teenagers, but found that the school had turned back in time, and the events that happened yesterday were repeated, and everyone was confused as if they were reset by their memories. Han Tinjao clenched the talisman and frowned. "Nishang, this. Is it a black shadow remnant again?" Bai Jingxian observed carefully and found that the law of time reversal was as clear as a pendulum, and he began to calculate countermeasures. Lin Yexi walked to the window and stared at the distorted campus, his eyes flashing with determination that he had never had in his previous life. Luo Nishang took a deep breath and summoned the power of the mind barrier and light bridge from the system. She knew that this challenge was far more dangerous than the source of the dark shadow. Time was an element that could not be forcibly controlled. "We must work together, otherwise everything will return to the tragedy of the previous life," she said, the light extending from the palm of her hand and surrounding the three of them. The fluctuations of time reversal came like a tide, and the wills of the four people were closely intertwined, and finally under the effect of light and mental barriers, the distorted time slowly calmed down. Chapter 32. Just when they thought the crisis was lifted, the system prompted a new warning. Warning, the real target of the time manipulator is the host itself. Luo Nishang was surprised, and recalled carefully, the death and rebirth opportunities in her previous life may have been a test of her power. Han Tinjao held her hand and whispered, "Nishang, no matter what happens, we are by your side." Bai Jingxian and Lin Yexi also stood firmly beside her, and the three of them fused their strength and emotions to form an invisible barrier. Luo Nishang closed her eyes, feeling the intertwining of light and black shadow in her heart. She understood that in the face of the real enemy, magic alone was not enough, love and trust must be the core of strength. Chapter 33. As night falls, the sky appears to be dyed deep purple, and lightning cuts through the sky, indicating impending disaster. The time manipulator appears, dressed in a black robe and holding an hourglass engraved with runes in his hand, and with each hourglass vibrates, the world twists. "Nishang, do you think the light can change everything? Time is the real power to control your destiny." His voice was low and treacherous. Luo Nishang clenched the magic stone, and the light swirled in her palm, bursting out like a meteor. The three teenagers stood beside her. Han Tinjao's power turned into a stone wall, Bai Jingxian's illusion confused the enemy, and Lin Yexi's black shadow energy complemented her light, forming a huge barrier. This is a pinnacle showdown between light and darkness, time and space, where the four of them resist together, and their power explodes in the sky, illuminating the entire night sky. underscore 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 un. Chapter 34. The battle lasted for hours, and the time manipulator used an anomalous technique to pull Luo Nisheng into a different time and space fragment. The first fragment, the moment she saw herself in her previous life cornered by 3 villains, blood and tears intertwined. The second fragment, the world was swallowed by black shadows, cities collapsed, and countless little poor people cried helplessly. The third fragment, she faces herself who is about to be reborn, foreseeing future choices and responsibilities. She felt her heart tingle with each fragment traversal, but the 3 teenagers resonated with her heart, allowing her to find an outlet for strength in her pain. System prompt: break through the fragment time and space test, obtain the time pause ability, which can freeze enemies and objects within a short range. Luo Nisheng held the light tightly, instantly froze the enemy's offensive, and finally returned to the real world. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 35. Real world schools have been spilled over by time warps, with walls upside down, stairs spinning, and students in chaos. Luo Nisheng used his time pause ability to command 3 teenagers to rescue his classmates and gradually restore order on campus. Han Tenjao took the initiative to comfort the panicked students for the first time. Bai Jingxian designed a protective illusion, and Lin Yexi supported the rescue with black shadow energy. She discovered that saving the poor little is no longer just a person, but the order and emotions of the entire world may be rewritten. System prompt: mission completion rate is 80%, host ability is greatly increased. Luo Nisheng took a deep breath, the fusion of light and black shadow became more and more stable, and the strength was enough to face the final challenge. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 36. The time manipulator unleashes his ultimate, separating Luo Nisheng from the 3 teenagers in different parallel worlds, each reflecting their deepest fears and remorse. Han Tenjao fell into an isolated island, facing endless loneliness and self-blame. Bai Jingxian is trapped in a maze and trapped by countless illusions, and must solve psychological puzzles. Lin Yexi was swallowed by the black shadow, and the madness moved again. Luo Nisheng felt the death and failure of his previous life in the void where light and shadow intertwined. She closed her eyes and concentrated all her will, and the light extended from her palm to touch the consciousness of the 3 of them. Light and psychic resonance intertwine in parallel worlds, and they gradually become aware of each other's existence, joining forces to break through the limitations of space. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 37. The 4 reunite in a parallel world to face the ultimate illusion of a time manipulator. The city is twisted into a giant clock, the streets spin like gears, buildings float in the air, and the sky is covered in an hourglass. Luo Nisheng used the time pause ability to freeze some of the dangers, and at the same time cast the light bridge to connect the 3 of them, forming a stable aperture. Han Tenjao used stone walls to defend against attacks, Bai Jingxian used illusions to confuse the enemy, and Lin Yexi's black shadow energy stabilized the light bridge. The time manipulator was amazed by the power of her psychic resonance with the 3 of them, as light and shadows intertwined to impact the entire illusion. Luo Nisheng shouted, "We are not afraid of time, nor are we afraid of black shadows. We choose to save, not be devoured." Underscore 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 un. Chapter 38. Finally, Luo Nisheng found the core of the time manipulator, the fragment of consciousness in the hourglass. She reached out, and the light and shadow intertwined, infusing all love and trust, wrapping the hourglass fragments. The hourglass shattered, the distortion of time dissipated in an instant, the city returned to its original appearance, and the sky returned to normal flow. System prompt: final mission completed, the host successfully saves the world and all the little pity. The 3 teenagers stand with her at the top of the city, overlooking the world that has regained order, smiling at each other and looking at each other with hope. Luo Nisheng took a deep breath and understood that the tragedy of the previous life had been completely rewritten by the love and courage of this life. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 39. After the war, the world gradually returned to calm. Lo began to use system points to improve society, and she chose to improve education, medical care, and community well-being to help more poor people be protected. Han Tinjao, Bai Jingxian, and Lin Yexi are beside her, and their personalities and abilities have been completely changed due to the rescue process, becoming true guardians. Luo Nishang smiled, we not only saved ourselves, but also saved the future of the whole world. The system prompts that the last option appears, host can exchange for anything that exists in the world she chose, the power of eternal protection, so that she and the 3 teenagers can protect the world together until every little poor person is no longer alone. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 40. As the Guardian power activated, a glimmer of light began to appear around the city, twinkling like stars, illuminating every street and every corner. The tragedy of her past life has become a memory, but the interplay of light and shadow still reminds her that the world needs protection and wisdom. Han Tinjao took the initiative to hold Luo Nishang's hand for the first time, Bai Jingxian smiled and planned a new protection plan, and Lin Yexi used black shadow energy to improve the environment, and the 3 formed an unbreakable bond with her. Luo Nishang stared at the night sky and said softly, the pain of the past life no longer controls us, we want to use this power to let every little poor person be seen and protected. The light shines down, the stars twinkle, the world ushers in true peace, and their adventure has just begun. Chapter 41. The post-war world seemed to return to calm, but Luo Nishang soon discovered that the energy of the source of the dark shadow had not completely disappeared, and its remnants of power were still lurking on the edge of the city, ready to move like a shadow. Han Tinjao held the talisman tightly and looked around vigilantly. Nishang, do you feel it? That power is still there. Luo Nishang nodded, the light flashing in his palm. That's right, we must completely clean up the remnants and not let the world suffer again. 3 teenagers stood beside her, their hearts full of determination. Bai Jingxian analyzed the distribution of black shadow residuals, Lin Yexi used black shadow energy to recover fragments, and Han Tinjao provided a strong shield. They are like 4 guardians of light and shadow, searching for and purifying residual energy in every corner of the city. For the first time, Luo Nishang felt that the responsibility to protect the world is not only to save individuals, but also to continue to protect and encourage. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 42. During the purification process, Luo Nishang encountered a strange creature, a translucent wind spirit, whose eyes flashed like crystals and seemed to be able to see through her mind. Feng Ling said softly, you have rewritten the world, but there are more little pities waiting for you. Luo Nishang smiled and stroked its head. I understand that protection is not temporary, but an eternal action. System prompt, new ability unlocked, mind mapping, can sense all the pitiful pain and needs around her. Luo Nishang used mind mapping for the first time to see the loneliness and sadness of countless children and weak people in the city. Her heart trembled slightly, but at the same time full of strength. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 43. Han Tinjao took the initiative to say to Luo Nishang for the first time, Nishang, in our previous life, we really didn't deserve to be forgiven, but now, I hope to prove myself with my actions. Bai Jingxian patted him on the shoulder, me too. Lin Yexi whispered, we are no longer just villains who have been changed, but guardians. The 4 patrol the city and discover some undetected dangers, collapsed bridges, abandoned neighborhoods, children walking alone at night. Luo Nishang used light and mind mapping to guide the 3 teenagers to protect the weak, and the black shadow and light intertwined to form a new protective force. The night sky of the city is lit up with light, flowing like a galaxy, and every light is a hope to be guarded. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 44. One night, Luo Nishang dreamed of the moment of death in her previous life, and the dark world resurfaced, but this time it was different. The 3 teenagers held her hand, and the light wrapped around the 4 people like shields. Han Tinjao whispered, Nishang, we will not let the tragedy repeat itself this time. Bai Jingxian's illusion turned into a light bridge, connecting dreams and reality, while Lin Yexi used black shadow energy to stabilize the light bridge structure. The light flowed through the entire dream like a river, the shadows of the past life were purified one by one, and the little pitiful cry gradually turned into laughter. Luo Nishang smiled, this is our power, to rewrite our destiny with light and love. When she woke up from the dream, she felt that her system points had skyrocketed again, and her new guardian ability was fully opened. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 45. Bizarre phenomena began to appear in the city. Street lights flickered at night, rivers refracted rainbows in the moonlight, and children's laughter drifted like starlight. Luo Nishang took 3 teenagers on a patrol, and they found that some poor people who had been ignored began to grow up and face difficulties bravely. Han Tinjao used his strength to build schools and amusement facilities, Bai Jingxian used intelligence to design protection systems, and Lin Yexi turned black shadow energy into environmental transformation power. Luo Nishang stood on the city tower, smiling and staring into the distance. We are not only changing the past, but also creating the future. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 46. However, the world is not completely peaceful. One day, a fog appears on the edge of the city, hiding unknown forces within. Luo Nishang felt a faint cry coming from the psychic reflection, indicating that someone needed help. The 3 teenagers immediately followed her into the mist, where they encountered isolated teenagers and trapped animals, and the dark shadows in the fog changed their form at will, trying to intimidate them. Luo Nishang stretched out her hand, the light merged with the black shadow, illuminating the depths of the fog. She smiled, "Don't be afraid, you will all be seen and guarded." The fog gradually dissipated, the trapped people were rescued, and the little pitiful cry turned into laughter, and the system prompted, new ability unlocked, Light and Shadow Guardian, which can expand the power of light and shadow to the entire city. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 47. After the city restored order, Luo Nishang and the 3 teenagers decided to start a long-term protection plan. They have established a network of light bridges that allow light and shadow forces to flow through the city, protecting everyone who needs it at any time. For the first time, Han Tinjao took the initiative to share her story with the children, encouraging them to face loneliness bravely. Bai Jingxian uses intelligence to design interactive education systems. Lin Yexi transformed the black shadow energy into night guards to protect the safety of the streets. Luo Nishang felt true satisfaction for the first time. The pain of the previous life had been completely rewritten by the love and actions of this life. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 48. System prompt. Host can choose the final reward. Luo Nishang thought for a long time. She chose to protect eternity. Let the balance of light and shadow exist in the world, and all the little pities can be protected. The 3 teenagers stood beside her, their eyes shining. They knew that the shadows of their past lives could no longer erode the future. Above the city, light and shadow intertwine, forming an eternal guardian barrier that spreads like a galaxy to every corner. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 49. One day, Luo Nishang and 3 teenagers stood on the tallest tower in the city, looking at the streets that had been restored to life. Han Tinjao took the initiative to pull her to the edge of the tower for the first time, and said with a smile, "Nishang, this time I am no longer afraid of losing." Bai Jingxian held her hand and smiled, "We will protect this world together until the end." Lin Yexi was beside her, and the black shadow turned into a soft light, stabilizing the surrounding environment. Luo Nishang smiled, the light flowed out of her palm, blending with the light and shadow in the city. She understood that the death of the previous life was no longer the end, but the starting point of eternal protection. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 50. In the end, Luo Nishang stood in the center of the city, with light and black shadows surrounding the city. She looked back at the 3 teenagers, her eyes full of gratitude and love. Han Tinjao, Bai Jingxian and Lin Yexi smiled, completely connected to each other's hearts. They were no longer villains, but guardians of the world. System prompt. The host completes all tasks. The world and the little pity are fully saved, and the ultimate guardian power is obtained. Luo Nishang stretched out his hand, the light spread throughout the city, and the stars in the night sky twinkled, like countless guarded souls. She said softly, "The tragedy of the past life is a thing of the past, and from now on, we will protect every little pitiful person with love and courage forever." The 4 of them stood in the light and shadow. The world was back in balance, and their legend had just begun. Extra Chapter 1. A strange afternoon at the Light and Shadow Cafe. Luo Nishang decided to take the three teenagers to the newly opened Light and Shadow Cafe in the center of the city. This cafe is different from ordinary stores, the light in the space changes according to the mood, and the aroma of coffee can reflect people's inner emotions. When Han Tinjao walked into the store, the light was slightly blue, reflecting his usual calmness, but a hint of nervousness flashed in his eyes. He asked in a low voice, "Nishang, can we really relax?" Luo Nishang smiled and stretched out his hand. The light gently surrounded him. "Don't worry, there is no danger here, only taste and mood." Bai Jingxian was attracted by the starlight projection floating on the wall, and with the touch of his fingers, the light image rippled like water waves, forming a mini galaxy. Lin Yexi secretly fused the black shadow energy with the light of the cafe, making each table and chair float slightly, as if in a fantasy world. They sat down and ordered special drinks, Han Tinjao's blue flame latte, Bai Jingxian's dream mocha, Lin Yexi's obsidian vanilla, and Luo Nishang's light and shadow macchiato. "You can feel the warmth of your heart with every bite." Luo Nishang smiled, "Even if we protect the world, we need a moment of comfort." The three teenagers looked at each other and smiled, and in the Light and Shadow Cafe, they felt the happiness of ordinary days for the first time. Extra Chapter 2, Spiritual Adventure Under the Night Sky. One night, Luo Nishang and three teenagers were stargazing on the city tower. The sky rolled like liquid, and the stars twinkled as if calling them. Lin Yexi suddenly pointed to a star that was flickering abnormally. "There is an energy fluctuation there, I want to go and see it." Luo Nishang smiled, "Be careful, we can fly over with the light bridge." The four of them stepped on the light bridge and flew over the city to a suspended island under the starry sky. The island is home to exotic plants that emit a soft glow, as if every leaf is whispering. For the first time, Han Tinjao took the initiative to reach out and touch the plant, feeling its warm energy, and a pure smile appeared on his face. Bai Jingxian analyzed the island's structure and was amazed by the perfect balance of nature and magic. Lin Yexi happily turned the black shadow energy into tiny sparks, causing countless points of light to float in the air, as if igniting a galaxy. Luo Nishang stared at the night sky and said softly, "Even if the world returns to order, don't forget to explore and be curious." The three teenagers nodded, and this floating island became their new secret base, witnessing the eternity of friendship and courage. Extra Chapter 3, Poor Little Rescue in the Fog. One day, Luo Nishang sensed a faint cry in the fog on the edge of the city, and the psychic mapping showed that a child was trapped in an abnormal illusion. She summons three boys, and the Bridge of Light and the Mind Barrier are activated at the same time, entering the misty world. In the fog, the streets twist like spinning gears, houses float, and shadows dance irregularly. Han Tinjao used his strength to stabilize the ground, Bai Jingxian used illusions to guide the lost children, and Lin Yexi turned the black shadow into light to form a safe passage. Luo Nishang walked into the depths of the fog and saw the child trapped by the giant fog monster. She stretched out her hand to release the light intertwined with the black shadow, softening the monster into a cloud of warm energy, and the child was able to escape safely. The children laughed surrounded by light and shadow, and Luo Nishang smiled, "No matter how strange the world is, we will protect you." The three teenagers looked at her, their eyes flashing with understanding and trust. They knew that protection was not only a battle, but also a practice of love. Extra Chapter 4, Unexpected Winter Magic Market. Winter arrives, and the city hosts a strange magic market, with streets filled with floating snowflakes and stalls selling light and shadow candies and moving magic toys. Lo takes three teenagers through the market, and each stall has a magical surprise. Candy can briefly evoke memories of the past, toys can tell stories, and even a small light bridge maze for people to explore. Han Tinjao was attracted by the rotating light and shadow sled, and smiled as innocently as a child for the first time. Bai Jingxian studied magic devices and marveled at the exquisite illusion gadgets he made. Lin Yexi combined the black shadow energy with snowflakes to create floating black and white snowballs, and the children applauded one after another. Luo Nishang said softly in the snow light, "Even if you protect the world, you must enjoy the beauty of life." The three teenagers nodded, light and shadow intertwined in the market, forming an eternal fairy tale picture. Extra Chapter 5, The Daily Life of the Guardians of Light and Shadow. The four of them returned to the Light and Shadow Tower and began planning a long-term protection plan for the city. They use the light bridge to patrol, the mind maps to monitor the safety of the little pitiful. Bai Jingxian is responsible for strategy, and Han Tinjao and Lin Yexi guard the streets with power and black shadows. Luo Nishang overlooked the city from the top of the tower, and the light flowed out of her palm, forming a light and shadow connection with the three of them. They occasionally gather at light and shadow cafes, explore starry floating islands, or relax at winter markets where life and protection are intertwined. Every little pity is seen, every corner is protected. Luo Nishang knows that this is her eternal mission with the three teenagers. Light and shadows flicker over the city, and the legends of the Guardian will forever illuminate everyone's heart like stars.